Hello! My name's Darby. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to today's video. First of all, thank you so much for being here. It means so much to me. It feels weird saying that in advance because I haven't posted this, so no one's technically here right now while I'm filming, but I'm assuming someone will watch it. So if that's you, thank you so much for being here. My brows are overdue for a little cleanup. It's embarrassing. My bangs have made me very lazy and my brows are just hiding under there, so I kind of neglect them quite a bit, and I decided it's time to deal with this mess. Do you see this? I have a full-on unibrow and a lot of other random hairs. So I'll just cover those up for a minute. So in this video, I'm going to show you how I like to shape my brows, how I like to clean them up, and a little bit of how I like to fill them in as well. So here's what you'll need to get started. First of all, you're going to want a mirror and one with a magnifying side as well. Just helps you to see those little tiny hairs and not miss anything. I need a headband, so if you have bangs, you might need a headband as well. It's also really nice to have a spoolie brush to just brush through all the brow hairs and get them the direction that you want them. You'll need some little scissors, like cuticle scissors or something. Maybe they make brow scissors. They probably do. Brow scissors or cuticle scissors or some sort of little scissor to clean up and trim. Mine are a little curved, which I don't necessarily love. If you have straight ones, that's better. Of course, you're gonna need some tweezers. The Tweezerman tweezers are really good. I have these matte black ones from Revlon, which are really nice and sharp, so they grip all the little hairs really well. And then lastly, you'll need whatever product you like to fill in your brows with. For shaping purposes, that can even be like an eyeliner or just something to fill in the brow hairs. Here's what I'm going to be using today, and we'll talk about all those in a second. Now that my hair is pulled back, I can easily see what's going on. I think I'm going to try to zoom the camera in. Okay, so there's the zoom. And it's really scary. I'm so embarrassed. I'm usually very on top of doing my brows, but occasionally I like to grow them out and kind of just revisit the shape that I have. Sometimes when I just am tweezing them every single day for upkeep, I get to the point where I just don't really love how they look anymore. So I just decided, since I have bangs, I'm gonna grow them out and kind of just reshape them. So we're gonna get started with that right now. First thing I like to do before anything is trim my brows a little bit. You do not have to do this, but to me, I feel like it helps the brows just stay in place better, and it helps me get a better idea of what the shape is and what hairs fall inside the brow line and what hairs fall outside, so that I know what to tweeze better. I'm gonna take my little spoolie brush and my little cuticle scissors, and I'm gonna brush my brow hairs up so that they're standing straight. Whatever falls above the top of my brow, I'm gonna trim off. If you have really fine brow hairs, you might not want to do this. Obviously, there will be less hair, and so your brows will look less full, but I feel like my brow hairs get so long that they just get looking crazy. And if you have really thick brows, it might be good to brush up and trim, and then even brush down, and whatever falls below your brow, you can trim off as well. If you're nervous about this at all, just do small amounts at a time. So instead of trimming off right to the top of the brow line, start just by trimming what's up here and then brush them back down and see what you think. And then if you think you could go with a little bit more, trim a little bit closer to the brow line. You don't have to take off everything right at once. So I am an esthetician. Also, I have been trained on brow shaping, brow styling, waxing, threading, tweezing, and I feel very confident in brows. If you don't feel very confident, like I said, take it slow, or just go in and see someone who you trust and who has had a lot of practice in shaping brows that you like. So check out someone's Instagram, go in and see them and get it professionally done if you're worried about it, because you don't want to make any mistakes when it comes to your brows, because that can be scary. Now, before I go ahead and start tweezing anything, I like to fill them in the shape that I want. That just helps me see clearly which hairs fall within the brow and which hairs are stray hairs. That way I know what to tweeze and I know what to leave. Sometimes if you don't have that guideline, it gets easy to start just over tweezing and then you end up tweezing what was supposed to be part of your brow. I found that just filling them in is a good way to make sure that that does not happen. Something I feel like a lot of people struggle with is getting them even. It's easy to make one brow look good, but then it's hard to make the other one match it. Some tips I have with that would be to start with your more difficult brow, because it will be easier to match your easier brow to your more difficult brow than it would be to fill in your nice brow and then get the harder brow to match it. And my other tip would be to definitely work in sections. So do one part on one brow and do that exact same part on the other brow, as opposed to filling in one entire brow and then going in and trying to get that brow to match it. If you just follow the steps closer, you'll have a more likelihood of doing them the same. Another good thing to note is shaping according to your face structure is going to help you a lot. So there's a couple key markers you can look for. If you have something thin and straight like this, you can use this as kind of a guideline. The beginning of your brow should start about at the midpoint of your nostril straight up. And so you can put a little mark right there and then do the same on the other side and make sure that they look even. Now, of course, some people's noses aren't the same on both sides and some brows like point different ways. So you might have to kind of make a mark there and then check it and make sure you like where that's at. But that is a good guideline for that part of the brow. So we're about right here. When I'm filling this in, this isn't how I would fill in my brows to like do my makeup and go out for the day. I'm going to be filling them in pretty harsh just so that I can get, like I said, a good idea of the shape. It's not to be cute. So we can do another video on that if you want. Okay, so then from the side of your nose through where your pupil sits when you're looking straight forward, and then up is going to be where your arch should be. Now, make sure you're looking straight on. If you're not looking straight on, if your head is turned and you're trying to do it like this, you're going to end up with the wrong shape. You can see how if I turn my head this way and I try to line it up with my pupil, this would say my arch should be all the way over here. So obviously you need to be straight onto a mirror and looking straight ahead of you, right at, like, just straight forward. Just look straight forward. And then line it from there. And then for the end of the brow, you want to go from the corner of your nostril to the outside edge of your eye and then up, and then that's where your brow will end. I always like to err on the longer side, so I'll even stay a little bit further down here just to be safe. So there's that. Obviously everyone's faces aren't exactly symmetrical, so it's not going to look perfect. Our eyebrows are never going to be exactly the same, but this will make them nice and close, like almost exact. We used to measure everything from the outside of the nose, so if you look up these kind of like templates online, you might see that people are measuring this inner corner or this inner part of the brow from the very outside of the nostril as well. That will just make your brows way further apart on the inside, which is fine if you want to do that. I feel like most people are leaning towards having brows a little bit closer together these days, just because it makes your nose appear a little bit smaller. The more space you have, the more skin showing right here, the more wide your nose is going to look overall. I don't know about you, but I don't want that. So I do it like this. One of my brows is a lot lower in the front than the other, and so I'm actually going to draw a straight line from where I want the bottom of this one to be to where I want the bottom of this one to be, and make sure that they're going to be the same distance, and I might even do it on the top as well. I should tell you, by the way, this brow pencil is from NYX. It's their micro brow pencil. Mine's in the shade Ash Brown. These are really nice. They're creamy enough that they apply the color easily, but they're not so creamy that you end up with way too much pigment all at once. And they even have a spoolie on the other side. So I really, really like these. Now that I have all these little markings in, I'm going to go ahead and fill in my brows pretty thick, just the outline mostly, so that we know where the line is of our brows. I like to start at the arch. So this line, or the dot right here, is going to be the top of my arch. So now I'll go ahead and do this side. And then I just like to make sure that that step is looking even with both brows, and then I can move on to a different section. From here, I'm gonna go and do the underside of the front of the brow. I like it to be parallel with the top angle, and so I'm gonna start from the arch again, and then etch down to the front of the brow so that I can get a parallel line with the top side of the brow. And always just keep them thicker to start. You never want to take off too much at once. And then we'll move on to the inner or the outer tails. So again, I'm going to start at the top. I don't like the tail of my brows to be angled too low. I feel like the skin on my eyes already droops so much that if I angle my brows down, it's gonna make everything look really saggy. So I like to keep them a little bit more uplifted. That way it just kind of lifts this whole area. Oh my gosh. I wonder how much of that I missed. That sucks. It was recording and I didn't realize it stopped. I'm so annoyed that stopped recording. I just want to cry. I don't know what happened. I feel like nothing died. Everything's fine. It just stopped. I don't get it. So basically, I filled it all in. I made sure everything was even, and then I just tweezed away. And now here we are. I'm completely done. And I just now realized that it wasn't recording. So just hate that so much. I've been having so many issues with this. And I can't like go back and do this again because now all my hairs are gone. But let me just repeat what I said if you missed it. I don't know what's on there and what's not. So pretty much when you start tweezing, same thing, you want to work in one section at a time. So I started up here and I tweezed this section, and then I went up here and tweezed this section. And as you're tweezing, so I had the most hairs underneath, right? So when I was tweezing this outer tail, I start at the lowest hairs and then I start working my way up, 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 so that you don't work in one spot too long and tweeze off a ton of hairs right up next to that brow line and then realize that you created a bald spot. So work lowest and then up, 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 highest, closest to the brow, and go slow and make sure that you're stopping in between and checking further away and different mirrors or different lighting to make sure that things are still really even. I'm not sure if this is in the footage or not, so I'm just gonna repeat it really quick. Your brows can really enhance facial features or shapes that you want. For example, my eyes are really downturned, so if my tails of my brows were going more angled down, it would accentuate the angled downturnness of my eyes and make me look really droopy and old and sad. So instead of angling them down so much, I kind of lift them up a little bit with the shaping that I do so that it gives a little bit more of a lifted appearance. I have more of an oval face shape, and so a soft arch looks best on me. If your face is a little bit more round, so about equally tall as it is wide, then you might want to do an arch that's a little bit more defined. If your arch is a little bit higher and more defined, it's going to give you a little bit of a longer facial appearance. If you have a very oblong face where it's very narrow and very tall, then you'll want to do a very soft, minimal to no arch at all, because that's going to give you a little bit more of a widened appearance to your face. So it really depends on your face shape, what you like, what you don't like, but using the little tips like using your pencil here, here, and here can really help you get a good idea of how your brows should be, and then from there you can kind of tweak it to be how you like. So here's how everything turned out for the brows. Hopefully this video was helpful. I'm going to try to edit it and hopefully it was good. I mean, I don't think I got any of the actual tweezing action going. But I mean, that's pretty self-explanatory. I think most of the important stuff still made it in. So there's everything I have for you today. I love hearing that the things that I'm sharing have helped someone out there. So if you try this out and it works for you, or if you have other suggestions, go ahead and let me know. I'd love to hear about it. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you have other questions or suggestions for videos you'd like to see from me, and hopefully I will see you next time. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on videos. Bye!